Obviously, the biggest villains in America right now are the people in the Trump administration, as well as the people enabling or supporting the Trump administration. But I don't think enough people on the left are appreciating the danger of feckless Democratic leaders like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer acting as if this is a business as usual presidency that only necessitates a business as usual response. Because when you have the sort of situation that Trump and his enablers are causing, and then you look to the politicians that you hope to support and fight for and have fight for you, and they're not doing anything, you're going to come to the conclusion, perhaps, that politics is not the way to solve these problems. And that is when people are at risk of turning to things that are illegal or violent or challenge the very fabric of society, which hopefully none of us want. So check out this short clip. You don't have to even watch it. You can just put the phone down and listen to it. It's a few minutes long. It's a conversation between Canadian author and journalist Jeet Heer and American left-wing broadcaster Sam Seder talking about this, giving some historical background to it. It is pretty chilling.
I just think it's it speaks to, I don't know, this kind of servility, this surrender mentality that one sees in Jeffries and in Schumer. Like, it just, they do not know how to fight politically. But I want to be fair and say, that's not true of Democrats as a whole. And, the good thing is that more are becoming emboldened. And I actually think that the protests are actually emboldening Democrats in Senate and Congress to actually speak more on this issue. I think people are hearing from their constituents. I think, aside from the leadership class, I think people in Congress and the Senate are having a better sense of where their base is and what needs to be done. And I would also say, I'm being perfectly serious when I say, I worry about a civil war scenario, right? Like when you have American troops, on the streets fighting with protesters. And I think that the manhandling of Padilla is kind of like part of this. If you go through the history of the Civil War, one of the incidents that historians highlight is when the Senator Sumner was on the speech on the floor of the Senate, spoke against slavery, and then a Southern senator came up and started beating him. If you start having violence against elected officials, that's a pretty good indicator that you're going to start heading towards a situation where people feel like politics is not the solution. And if politics is not the solution, then violence is a solution. And I actually want to avoid that. I mean, I'm not an accelerationist. I actually think that let's leave the politics aside. If Schumer and Jeffries were doing their duty as statesmen, as political leaders, they should think about the fact that their surrender mentality is going to make civil war more likely, not less likely.
100%. I've had some conversations with or exchanged some. I've had some conversation with some folks on the ground in L.A. And the perspective of at least some of those people who are engaged in the direct action, and I got to be careful about what I say here, just because of agreements I made. But the perspective there is not we're protesting or something like this. It is we are protecting members of our community. We are in one part of that is inhibiting and tying up the police, and the other is just trying to, by a whole host of means, protect people in the community and thwart what ICE is doing. And part of the reason why people end up doing that is because the politicians who presumably represent these communities are not doing it.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely the case. Yeah. I don't know if you push the Civil War analogy further. I mean, that's what the abolitionists found themselves having to do. Once you have the Fugitive Slave Act, if the political system has failed, then you're going to be put in a position where you're going to have to go outside the law in order to protect people. And that is what we're seeing. The more the Democrats fail to address this issue, the more they fail to protect people. And these are people who are totally woven into American society, right? So it is. And I don't know the aspect of what Trump is doing here, because he's setting. It's he controls the federal army, the federal government, and he's setting it against the states that are his enemy. It's not an accident he's going after California. They're having these hearings on the so-called sanctuary states.
Exactly.
He's using the power of the government against states that he sees as on the other side. And that is also a civil war situation. He's not presiding as the president of all America. He's not being the commander-in-chief with an army that's supposed to protect all America. It is the army is his personal mercenary force, and he's going to use it against the states that he sees as his political enemy. And the FBI is going to go, manhandle senators. This is we're in a tinderbox here. Things could very easily explode in very dangerous directions.